Hello, pop pickers. We've got a Christmas special for you. We've got the top 10 fundraising ideas across the world, which we're going to share with you in about 25 minutes. Do you want to do number 10?
Not half. Right. I've got from number 10 as created by my esteemed partner, the Big Give Christmas Challenge. What is it? It's the UK's largest online match funding campaign running annually during the first week of December. Donations made during the challenge are doubled by matching funds from philanthropists, businesses, and foundations. So, who benefits from this? Well, the challenge benefits thousands of UK charities, covers a whole range of different causes. That's homelessness, education, healthcare, environmental protection, and more. And since it launched in 2008, it's raised over 240 million for participating charities. And in 2022 alone, it raised 28.6 million just during the Christmas week. Now, what I really like about this one is the impact it can have for smaller local charities who don't often get a fair share of the pie. And I was listening to the radio, and they had a representative on there from the Beavers Trust, and they've raised 36,000 from this through the Big Gift. And I can't remember whether they've got any paid staff, but either way, it's a small charity. And I'm sure you know about the ecological benefits beavers bring when they're reintroduced. They create wetlands and they actually reduce flooding. But most importantly, these wetlands are home to a host of different plants, kingfishers, water voles, fish, frogs, dragonflies, bees, bats, and even my favourite newts. So who doesn't think this is important work that needs funding? And what we love about this is it's matched. It gets people motivated to actually give because it doubles the value of their donations. It also gives me an excuse to talk about, as it says here, dear reader, beavers. So I will include a lovely photograph of a beaver here. Giles, number 10. Over to you for number 9.
And at number 9, the Make a Wish Foundation and Macy's Believe charity campaign. Christmas is a time for children, obviously, and any children's charity has an inbuilt advantage at Christmas. Now, take the Make a Wish Foundation partnership with Macy's, and in case you don't know, Macy's is one of the largest department stores in the United States with a chain of 500 department stores, and it's been going for 21 years now. So Macy's is famous around the world for its Christmas appeals, and last year Macy's donated over $2 million to help transform the lives of Wish kids, surpassing more than 1%, $173 million in total donations. Back to Wish kids. 16,000 wishes were given to children battling critical illnesses. This annual initiative invites customers to send letters to Santa, with Macy's donating a dollar for each letter. During National Believe Week, they doubled the donation, raising up to $2 per letter written. It's so simple. And just take one wish, only as an example. I wish to be on a Macy's billboard, said Abby, aged 10. Sorted.
Now we're going to move on to number 8. And this incorporates one of my clients. So it's the Trussell Trust and FareShare and their corporate partnership with Tesco's. This was first started in 2012. And they do a winter food collection, takes place in the run up to Christmas across hundreds of Tesco stores. And this involves a coordinated effort between Tesco, Trussell, and FareShare to support people facing hardship in local communities, with volunteers greeting customers in store and encouraging them to add a few items to their Christmas shop. The food collection then gets distributed to the food banks, as not only does it provide additional food for them to distribute, but it also provides an opportunity for them to recruit new volunteers, make more people aware of the work they do, and explain their work to a wider audience, which often leads to more people becoming supporters and long-term donors. Now, this is great because it not only raises money, but also stimulates more and different forms of fundraising. And here's an interesting fact, that people often separate their food they give from the cash they give, and they tend to find more money out of a different budget for the food items they donate. Now, in 2022, the Winter Food Collection drove 2.4 million meals worth of food for different food banks and charities, and you can also donate your club card points. So it's brilliant that a corporate partnership has sneaked into our top 10 at number 8. Not half.
And at number 7 is Coca-Cola. So why are we featuring a capitalist brand, a capitalist giant in the festive top 10? If any brand could own Christmas, it would be Coca-Cola. Everyone knows the adverts. The iconic Coca-Cola Christmas trucks were first created for the 1995 TV commercial Christmas Caravan, featuring trucks adorned with 30,000 lights and the holidays are coming jingle. They were a massive hit and known all around the world. Then there were real-life truck tours. The trucks began their tours in 2009 in the UK and Ireland. These annual tours have become festive events, stopping in dozens of cities. The tour transformed its locations into mini winter wonderlands, featuring games like Lucky Dips, live DJ sets, and performances by gospel choirs. The important bit, they also donate a meal per person visiting, and they also collect donations. Causes include food banks, shelters, refuges, and related causes. And the campaign has massive reach. In just 1 year in the UK, the trucks visited 64 locations in 40 days. And that's just the UK. Figures are hard to come by, folks, but if even just 1% of holiday sales, representing billions globally, were donated to charity, this adds tens of millions more to their Christmas-specific giving. And so I estimate that if you could add up all the regions and all the activities we think are cautious, estimate maybe over 100 million. Now, this is not all altruism, of course. They hand out millions of samples, they distribute lots of branded merchandise, they collect thousands of customers' data, they sell promotional packs, and in 1 year alone, the company had 57 million tweets featuring the hashtag. Of course, Coca-Cola benefit massively because they're one of the biggest brands in the world. And my guess is that Coca-Cola makes more out of this than the charities do. But why not? It's called mutual benefit. Let's have a lot more of it, please.
And did you know that one of the reasons why Father Christmas, or Santa Claus, as we call him in America, is red? Because it matches the Coca-Cola brand. Traditionally, he was always dressed in green until Coca-Cola shifted it over. Anyway, so what are we on now? I'm on 6, and I want to talk about Christmas Jumper Day with a bullet. It does what it says on the tin, capitalised on the whole trend for dreadful or ironic Christmas jumpers, and it's a great excuse to revel in bad taste. It's an annual fundraising campaign in the UK and Ireland organised by Save the Children. So you're encouraged to wear your Christmas jumper to work or a social event, and you give a gift of a couple of pounds or a couple of euros. It started not that long ago, back in December 2012, and it's raised £30 million to help children around the world. By a quick little bit of mental division, that would maybe equal up to about 15 million participants. It's unlikely, and that's because a lot more people gave a bigger gift than £2. Now, there's a lot of talk among fundraisers now about whether recruiting new regular givers. You should be asking about £2 a month or increasing it to £20 a month. This shows that they're actually looking that people are actually uplifting their gift and giving more than that £2. And of course, there's been recent developments. So much clothing this year is made of plastics. And what Save have been doing over recent years is to ensure that this is becoming much more sustainable. So now what people are being encouraged to wear is a Christmas jumper they already own, or go to a charity shop, decorate an existing jumper with baubles and rings and glitter and such like, or even knit their own. I'm not sure how many would knit their own, but it just goes to show things have changed in the last few years. So some of the celebs that have been involved in this includes Holly Willoughby, it includes Helen Mirren, Kate Moss and Mo Farah. However, our favourite celebrity has to be this year's Shaun the Sheep. And here he is looking very dapper in his jumper. It's hard to see how they're going to beat Shaun in the near future.
Mark, do you think Fluff Freeman used to read from a script?
Not half.
I'm sure he didn't. And if you expect us to remember all of this, you're wrong.
Do what?
Remember all of this. We're reading from the script, in case you hadn't noticed. Number 6 is Christmas cards. It has to be in there. They're such an ingrained part of our culture that not to put them in would be mad. I might notice if someone has given me a charity Christmas card, but only if I read it on the back. Now, charity Christmas cards are a massive source of fundraising, especially in countries like the UK, USA and Australia. In the UK, the sale of Christmas cards for charity generates over £50 million annually for charities, and UNICEF alone reports global revenue of $5 to $7 million from card sales. We might take them for granted now, but in 1843, charity cards were offered brand spanking new. The first ones were created by Sir Henry Cole, a British civil servant, who helped found the modern postal service and wanted to encourage ordinary people to use the post. So he worked with artist John Calcott Horsley to design the card. They sold for a shilling each with a proportion of proceeds benefiting the poor. Maybe it shouldn't come as a surprise that the very first card is now also the most expensive. One of the original 1843 cards is now selling for £20,000 at auction. The design featured a family enjoying a festive meal, flanked by images of acts of charity. Interestingly, it created a lot of scandal at the time. How might something as innocuous as a charity Christmas card create a lot of scandal? Well, it depicted a child drinking wine, which, to be fair, would be a no-no today. Anyway, the Temperance Society objected, and they weighed in criticising Christmas cards for promoting alcohol consumption, to give this slip there. Scandals and moral panics aside, the humble Christmas card makes the festive top 10 by virtue of simplicity and longevity. And here it is. I'll do number 4 as well, Mark.
Oh,
you don't mind? Okay. Operation Christmas Child. I put this in because I wondered, are we allowed to discuss things evangelical? And I thought, well, if ever there was a time, it's at Christmas. So Operation Christmas Child was created in 1990 by Dave Cook and his wife Jill for children in Romania. Each November, thousands of churches, schools, groups and individual donors prepare and collect shoeboxes filled with toys, school supplies, personal items and other small gifts. A booklet of Bible stories is often distributed alongside the shoebox gifts, which are given to children based on need alone, regardless of their faith. These boxes are then distributed overseas by volunteers, and as of today, they've distributed 222 million shoeboxes in 170 countries. The program uses follow-up evangelism with pamphlets of Bible stories that are given to families that receive the boxes. And an organizer for Operation Christmas Child says his goal every day is to expand God's children through Operation Christmas Card. And the Shoebox campaign has inspired many heartwarming stories, including one where a young girl in Trinidad received a box that led her and her family to start a church in their community, a testament to the deeper impact of these sentiments or these seemingly small gifts. And Mark, now onto the reason why I wanted to read this. And why not build on the church? We're talking about Christmas, a Christian festival to honour the birth of Jesus Christ. But other religions have their own celebrations, such as Hanukkah, Diwali, the end of Ramadan, Vesak, and Vyasaki. I think I pronounced that right. But we all come together at Christmas. I'm going to say that again. We all come together, Mark, at Christmas to celebrate some way. That said, if anyone thinks that the following traditions are rooted in Christianity, think again. Yule logs, the Christmas tree, hanging wreaths, feasting and giving, and, God bless them, Santa Claus. nothing to do with Christianity at all. Many of these had their origins in pre-Christian traditions like Yule, which celebrated the winter solstice and the return of the sun. But in the end, what does it matter? It's Christmas, a season of love and goodwill.
All right, I'm back now with a bullet, number 3, and I've got Oxfam Unwrapped. Now, this started about 20 years ago in 2004. It feels like it's been around forever because, quite honestly, it probably has. Giving a gift of a goat goes back many generations. Obviously, it's part of the Islamic religion. But as a charity fundraiser, it's raised millions of pounds. Now, as a charity fundraiser, I think it was originally created by Heifer, where you were able to give cows or goats as gifts throughout the world. But Oxfam turned it into a fundraising model, particularly in the UK, which became pretty iconic. It allowed donors to purchase symbolic items, whether it was goats, school supplies, water tanks, that represent real life interventions that will be funded by their donations. And it spawned, as it copied other ideas, another slew of copycat initiatives. It's concrete, it gives the donor the sense that they're doing something specific, it makes it accessible and personal, and people love being able to say, I bought a goat for Christmas. It takes the abstract idea of giving to charity and it makes it real. It appeals to humour and the heart, the quirky nature of gifting, something like, I'm going to give you a pile of poo this Christmas, which is fertiliser, in case you didn't realise. It's attention grabbing, whilst also having a meaningful impact. It also works to make some complicated issues funny and much more easy to understand. Now, the goat craze was a bit too successful, and back in 2005, Oxfam had to actually clarify that they weren't actually sending goats out from the UK to individuals in the global south, and had to re-explain that it was actually representative gifts funding support for agricultural programs. But that idea of sending a goat was a fun thing that people love to do, and it still continues to this very day. Now, Act 2.
No. If you remember, Mark, we drew lots about who should do number 1.
Did we?
And yes, we did.
All right. I'm going to do number 2. And it's going to bring me back to it's Christmas. A fairy tale in New York, the Red Christmas Kettle. If any of you have been to New York at Christmas, or indeed if you've watched any New York-based Christmas films such as Home Alone, you see what's known as the bell ringers, when the Salvation Army men and women go out ringing a bell with their Christmas kettle, raising money on the streets of the big cities throughout America, because it was first started in San Francisco by the Salvation Army captain Joseph McPhee in 1891, and he placed a great big pot of fisherman's wool with a sign that read, "Keep the kettle boiling." So volunteers stand outside businesses, high traffic areas, ringing their bell and inspiring passers-by to drop their donations into their trademark red kettles. And the money goes to give free dinners for the destitute and poverty-stricken. I understand they don't use those exact words today, but the idea has gone coast to coast. By 1896, 150,000 dinners were served. In 1900, there was a grand feast at Madison Square Garden, a part of the Red Kettle, which fed thousands of New Yorkers in need. And today in the US alone, the Salvation Army assists more than 4.5 million people during the Thanksgiving and Christmas periods. And those kettles are now used in Korea, Japan, Chile, all around Europe, and of course here in the UK. And here's a few little fun facts for you. A tradition is developed in the US where in some places gold coins are anonymously donated in those kettles. It started in the Midwest when the first known drop of a golden coin was put into a kettle in Crystal Lake, Illinois in 1982. And since then there have been various bullion dropped in, a number of rare coins, jewellery. They've received a 1/3 of a carat diamond ring and large checks, including one for $500,000. And I really love this one. In 1 year, they were given 5 gold rings.
Ta-da!
It's a nice tradition if you can find one. This one's been going for 133 years. And now, at one, Giles Pegram, take it away.
Da 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 da. Number one, Mark, you read scripts far better than I do, but I will do my best for this one. This is Crisis at Christmas. This is number one, in my opinion, in our opinion. It was started in 1972 and I rocketed up to number one in our top 10. Now, the reason why I wanted to put this in the top 10, on the face of it, it's all about providing food, warmth, and some company on Christmas Day to some 4,500 people in the UK. But of course, there's more to it than that. It's the largest volunteer-led event in the UK, and I'm always surprised by just how many people have told me that they've given up their Christmas to go and help out. And all the fundraising has a very clear and simple ask for the price of a person coming on the day. This year is £29.80. As a fundraiser, I love it. It directly connects the donor with an individual beneficiary giving a specific amount of money. And don't tell me your trustees won't allow it because it's spurious accuracy. Donors know it's spurious accuracy. They're not stupid. And they're happy to suspend disbelief. Back in 1984, I managed to get the finance people to agree that £15.48 can pay for that first vital visit. Now, the 1548 wasn't picked up out of thin air. It was carefully calculated, but again, completely spurious accuracy. It took us a long time. Back to Crisis. It's much more than about food. Services offered at Christmas include entertainment, opticians, podiatry, dentistry, and importantly, hairdressing. Also, internet access. This really got me thinking about how something as simple as internet access, things we just take for granted these days, is out of reach if you're homeless. And healthcare is important. People on the streets need to get vaccinated to keep on top of their health because they're vulnerable. And don't underestimate just how important that is to your sense of self. Of course, the real hope is that the charity can link people in their year-round services and maybe start their journey out of homelessness for good. Crisis is a brilliant example of a good fundraising campaign. Did you know that Sir Ian McKellen now narrates the Crisis at Christmas TV and radio appeals? He's been doing it for years, helping them to raise millions. Sir Ian also walks the walk and visits rough sleepers centres on Boxing Day. Thank you, Sir Ian, and that is our number one.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
Merry Christmas.